So, welcome to our Chevening Journey in a podcast, an initiative of for Brazilian scholars studying at the University of York, Juliana Leal, Fernando Saraiva, Tomás Moreira, and me, Juliana Bertolucci. I'm a therapist and journalist taking an MSc in Developmental Cognitive Neuroscience. Today I have three really wonderful guests with me. They are also Chevening scholars and have been living in the UK for the past 5 to 6 months. Valeria, please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, thank you for having me here. I'm Valeria Carrillo. I'm from Mexico, and I'm a heritage conservator. I currently studying my Master of Science in Digital Heritage at the University of York. So I'm at the Department of Archaeology, and as we were chatting a bit earlier, my previous work was more traditional aspects of conservation, so working with artworks and artifacts. But now I'm in the middle of like a career shift and trying to get into the more specialized part of working with digital practices and heritage. And my current interests are museum activism and digital preservation. So if you're into that, just hit me up and we can have a chat. I think it would be cool to see more people coming to the UK to study something in this field. So yeah, that's me. Hello, everyone.
Thank you, welcome. Shambalson, please introduce yourself as well.
Okay, my name is Shambal Tantar Shambal. I'm from Mozambique, and currently I'm taking a master in applied alpha research. I'm also a student at University of York. Previously, I was working as lawyer, and as Valeria, I made a crazy shift in terms of professional background. I started working with research in public health. That's why I decided to make a specialization in this area, specifically in biostatistic and infectious disease, which is a kind of 360 shift, but it's something that I really love and have been very interesting and adventure.
Nice, thank you, welcome. And now Amanda, it's not your first time with us, no Amanda.
No, hi Zu, hi everyone. This is my second time in this podcast. Thank you guys for inviting and for having me. So my name is Amanda. I'm from Brazil. I'm studying a Master of Science in Science and Technology Policy at the University of Sussex. And I've worked a little bit with international cooperation, especially in these areas of higher education, science, universities, and all that in Brazil in the past. So yeah, that's me. Thank you.
Welcome, thank you a lot for being here. We are going to talk about our experiences living here and studying here in the UK. In, let's say, an atypical year, a pandemic year. So our chat will be about the experience of living here during the pandemic, the academic differences between the UK and our home countries, the professional opportunities of taking a master's here, the cultural adaptation, and a little bit about what we expect or not for our post-UK lives. To start, I'd like to hear from you, Shambalson. What are your first impressions with your Chevening experience as a whole? You know, like, is there anything that happened that you just see and say, well, it's worth it?
It's easier to say that the first remarkable experience was the weather. I'm come from from a tropical country where I'm using small shorts and t-shirts. For then the entire year just using coats, stay at home. It was something to adapt and adjust, but I would say basically that the pandemic period, it's hard taking into account your personality. If you have a profile of someone who like have hobbies at home, it wouldn't be so challenge because you could find a way to adapt and dealing with your daily tasks like the studying assignments, reading a book, watching Netflix, or other activities that could be easily done at home. um, After that, what I would say is I really found here very easy to get things done, especially about service. In UK, people have a really mindset to start something and finish, and this is also related to public service. It really is to get access to service here if you want, and if you are need to have access to them. So this is particularly something that surprised me a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, the weather something here for me as well. I'm from Brazil, so it's really different. What about the universities, Valeria? Do you think it's different studying here in the UK?
Well, I mean, it obviously has been very, very different because you have the part of studying online on top of just coming to a completely different study system from what you have back at home. So it's been, I was lucky enough during my first term, I did have face-to-face seminars, which is unthinkable for me to now kind of like reminisce those days and go like, oh, I used to have that, and I'm very glad that I did. So at the beginning, I had face-to-face seminars for my some of my modules, and then the modules that had to do more with skills and maybe working with software, they were delivered online. So that was very useful because I could see my professor's screens and maybe get like real. It was a close experience, even if it was online. But now, since the new term in January, everything has moved online. So I had to adapt once again to what to studying that way, and it sometimes can be hard getting yourself organized. And I try to think of it as a full-time job where you have to book time for doing everything and also making space for your free time, because it can be very easy to just slip into thinking about your university or your degree all the time because you're in the same space basically the whole time. So yeah, it's been kind of a challenge, but I'm very happy that even if I'm studying online, I feel grateful for being able to be in the UK. I feel like that it does have a special feeling to it, and it makes me maybe even focus a bit better. I have some friends that I met from my master's, and they went back to their home countries for the Christmas break, sorry, and they are kind of just stuck there now, and they couldn't come back to the UK. And each time I talk with them, they're like, "I'm so jealous that you're in York and in the university," and just knowing that it could make you, I mean, there are some things that you have access to, like maybe some spaces like the library or tiny things, but it does get you kind of like in the mood to keep studying and stay focused. So yeah, there's that. And also being in the UK, there's things about just the weather, as Chambalson said, that it it does make you feel like you are living this Chevening experience, and that you are finally here after all those months of preparing for the interview and the essays and whatnot. So yeah, it's amazing that even if you're kind of stuck at home, you do have those moments where you go for a walk, or have quick access to nature, or you drink your little tea and you watch the BBC on telly. So it does, like, the everyday little things, they do make you feel like, well, I kind of am living the UK experience, and I'm living here now and I'm doing my degree, so it's not that bad after all.
Thank you. Yeah. What about you, Amanda?
So I think there's a big difference in terms of studying in the UK and in Brazil. But I also wanted to acknowledge one thing, that I only did my undergrad in Brazil. And I think in undergrad studies, you're kind of swimming in the surface of everything. And in the master, you're kind of swimming on the surface in classes, but then you kind of have to dive deep for everything you're going to write. So I think that is a different thing. The level of engagement and the level of depth you end up studying each part of the master. But I think that has more to do with the level of studies than necessarily with studying in the UK or in another country. I think one thing that really caught my attention in the beginning was the structure of the lectures. I wasn't that familiar with this system that we have lectures separate from seminars, and then seminar is one thing, lecture is another, and then a workshop is a different thing. And if you have a seminar outside of the class agenda, then there's something else. So I kind of had to understand all these different ways to work. And for everyone, it was just so obvious. The professors would say, oh, no, so we have the lecture. We can talk about that on the seminar. And I was like, what the hell is that? I just thought they were different classes. So that was one thing that was different. It was a initial shock I had to adapt to. And I think also this thing, I'm not sure if you guys had the same problem, but every time a professor tells me to narrow down my topic, is like it's a suffering process, because you're kind of navigating through different ideas, and you have to come down with this one question that is going to be your research question. And it's not like in undergrad that you can just answer to a question that a professor give you or something like that, but you actually have to come up with your own questions and your own problems and the own things you want to explore more. So I think this was also like a shock from the beginning of the master. But again, I think is more the master stuff. In terms of the UK experience, I think being confined, being in isolation for 2 weeks when I had to come to the UK was actually the best thing could happen, because I kind of really took that time to get, my life together, organized. And well, it's not a typical year. So I have to say that, I'm an expert in Tesco right now. So I know what everything is in the supermarket and this type of thing, because that's what we get to do at the moment. But as Valeria said, I think still it's a lot easier to have access to nature, and just enjoy the different parts of being in the country. And like, we're all on this, right? It's not like we are the only ones suffering from the situation. So although it's challenging, I also think it forces us somehow to live kind of a more local experience without all the international student separation that can happen as well. So yeah, I think that would be it for me, Ju. Thank you.
Can you? Oh, I think I was out. Sorry. Come back here. So, do you think that there is a mindset we need to develop to take deep, like Amanda said, to go deep, like Amanda said. What do you think about that? Like, if I'm I'm a student, I'm coming to the UK to take a master. Do you think I need to develop a different mindset or a specific mindset?
If I have to share my experience, um, in a certain way, you need to assume you are starting learning something new. Don't bring you don't bring your assumptions that I already done this before, so it's assumed to be that way because you get in shock. Um, I could use my program as example. Doing a master science applied alpha research, it's a broad program. I have to develop skills for different areas, from infectious and disease that it's a bit of biology, then health economics that I have to have a brain like economist, then biostatistic think like a mathematical, logical, and then qualitative health research. Each one of these areas have a different way to develop, for example, the research question. And it's something that I couldn't design a uniform approach. I have to divide myself, if I have to use that word, and bring my experience in terms of what I live as part of the reflexivity, and how I could develop the research questions, and provide further details so that I could really develop something unique, and reflecting all the experience I've gained from the industry before. But at the end, you need to really understand in deep what the lectures want from you in that specific module. You need to something that you also need to develop quickly. It's critical thinking and evidence base, and especially in my program you cannot really develop an idea without providing a background rationale about what they have already said about that specific topic, and what do you want to bring as a new approach, or a gap that you found in that specific previous background. This is what we have developed in half research, so that we can then provide a specific methodology to address that specific issue, that specific gap, and then bringing potential solutions with assumptions, evidence base, and the critical thinking about why I need to design this start, why I need to develop this specific research, what is there, and then will be the win-win for the sector and the area. Basically, is what and I would say is I'm still developing, strengthening this ability, but it's something that will reward at the end. I didn't finish my program, but I could say I'm like a wine with 10 years old. While when I arrived here was like 2 or 1 year, and I didn't finish the program yet.
I feel the same. Wonderful. What about you, Valeria or Amanda? Would you like to say something about that?
Yeah, I can go to. I think one thing it's really important, as Valeria said in the beginning, is kind of treat your master as a full-time job. Um, I remember one of my best professors so far said that in one of his first lectures for us. He kind of showed what was kind of the how much more people with masters could earn and things like that. Really trying to sell the whole experience. But then in the end, he came with this great sentence. It was treated as a full-time job, and kind of ring fence some time in your week to do the readings. Don't come to class without being prepared. So I think this is a really important mindset to treat it like you're not just taking in information. It's an active process of learning in which you have to engage and to be ready to contribute. And I think this is a difference from UK universities, from other higher education systems in Europe, that you always have interactive classes and you're always invited to, get your hands dirty in the learning process. And I think that's something really valuable. And I think also, in terms of like what you have to do, to kind of, I think it's just start to do everything early, to have kind of time to mature your ideas, to like just to let things flow in your mind, because you're never going to be the first one saying anything. I think doing a master is also a very humility process, because you kind of just understand that almost everyone has said something that you already thought in the past, and that expression of building on someone else's work, it's very true, because you will like read a lot of stuff, you will read, and when you think, oh, okay, I think I'm finally understanding what this line of thought says, then you will know that there's another line of thought that basically says the opposite. So you're gonna have to, choose your theoretical like background and things like that. But in the end of the day, it's trying to build from previous knowledge and trying to show your professors, the university, that you are able to do this critical connections between things. But never think you have to start anything from scratch, because knowledge has been, produced by humanity throughout time. And I think it's really useful, and kind of it relaxed me a little bit when I remember, oof, I don't have to do this alone. I don't have to save the world in one essay. I just have to, kind of concatenate ideas in a nice way. So I think that's it for me.
Yeah, and I guess it all ties into this aspect of the UK higher education being very, I guess, self-study oriented. So it does make you like develop that sense of self-discipline, just to be able to stay engaged with your seminars and lectures and all the content that you have each week. And I think it has really me thinking this way, because coming here with the Chevening scholarship, I feel like this is a time limited opportunity, so I have to make the most of it. So I just have basically 10 weeks for each term. I'm gonna try to make the most of each seminar, maybe do the reading just so I can understand what people are talking about. If there's a chance, maybe say something interesting, but I don't know. I guess it also ties into what Amanda said about like diving deeper and being original with your research, and that doesn't mean just having to come up with new ideas. There are so many creative ways and approaches that you could take into research, and maybe just take the opportunity of, if you are doing very hard work with your essays and your assessments, I would say just try to focus on topics and themes that you are passionate about and that are very exciting and interesting to you, and just try to hype yourself up to like, yeah, this is actually useful. I love reading about this. This is fun, and I want to like use this in the future. And yeah, just try to hype yourself up and make it feel like something fun. And just like, I feel that when you're doing your masters and you're doing research and you're studying in the UK, it, I don't know, it's just trying to feel that there's a way to even like enjoy your problems, and because it's like the student problems and you're probably not going to have them again. So it's nice to say like, okay, the one thing that I get to be worried about is having to read this and know more about this topic and do the little British things. And I don't know, it's just I would say enjoy your problems and the things you have to work out, because it's also part of the process, and you might not get the chance to be a master's student again in your life.
It's really, really nice, this tip. Thank you. Yeah, changing a little the subject. I would like to talk to you about the pandemic and how you are coping and experience this context we are living. How have you been coping, and how have you been? How do you feel this context is impacting your life or your studying experience, your networking experience, and this kind of stuff?
Can start you if you want. I think the first thing for me was recognizing that there would be ups and downs. Today, for example, for me was a very productive day. I went to university, went to the library that, is still open. We all have to wear masks and stuff like that, but it's open. And it was a productive day. Yesterday, I was in a really not productive day, and I cried because I missed my family. Someone in my family had COVID, and I was worried. So I think there is no right or wrong way to cope. I think each person has to find their own strategies to know what feels right. Like yesterday, my strategy was just lie in bed, watch Grey's Anatomy, and wait for sadness to go away. And today the strategy was, okay, I'm gonna attack this dissertation thing and do it and all that. But I think in one side, we do have to take some pressure off ourselves, in the sense that there is absolutely nothing we can do and accept in a way how powerless we are in face of life, because that's training for future moments in life, because we're never going to have control over everything. So it does affect my experience. I think all of us know that, just repeating the obvious. But as Valeria said, how do I still make the most out of it? It's not, this is probably the last, well, probably no, this is the last time, first and last time I'm having a Chevening scholarship to study in the UK. So I do still have to make the most out of it, regardless of the situation. And one thing that ends up being positive is that all my lectures are recorded now. So I always download them to my computer, and I will kind of have this really huge backup of everything my master was, and that wouldn't be possible in a normal context. So if I have to say one good thing, would be that, and just try to train for moments that we cannot have control over everything. I think that is what is working for me.
Thanks. Anyone else?
Yeah, for me, this new normal era has actually been very helpful for my specific research theme, because now obviously everything is closed and museums were forced to move their collections online, and online accessibility was something that I was very interested in looking at before I came here, and now everyone is interested in it, and now there's a sense of urgency to develop digital literacy, and everyone's looking at digital rights. So I think that in one way, being in lockdown and having a more, I guess, online life has pushed my specific sector 5 years into the future of what we would have done if this didn't happen. So I guess I'm grateful for that, and I like that it has become something that more people are paying attention to, and that it's just more time sensitive and relevant now. And yeah, but it's obviously not ideal. Um, I'm not living my Chevening Instagram dream, but there's still things that I can do, and I try to focus on what we are allowed to do and what and not on what we can't do in lockdown. So going out is important if you can. The winter is tough. I think I underestimated that. I thought like, yeah, I don't need to take vitamin D supplements. I'm perfectly. And then I thought that, okay, I'm from Mexico, so I'm very exposed to the sun all the time, and I didn't even notice until I started taking my vitamin D and felt like myself again. So I guess that would be important. But yeah, there are things to studying online that have been useful for me. Uh, the the pre-recorded lectures part of it has been nice because then I can speed it up, slow it down, look at it again if I didn't get something. And then there's also subtitles, which work great if some of your professors like have a heavy accents or that sort of thing. So yeah, that has been useful. And I guess you have to like take get a sense of control or something that resembles control in the tiny things in your life. So sometimes just because I can't expect anything in the future, I try to do little things that I can control and rearrange my flat and clean up my space, or uh, do that reading that I was dreading to do. But you feel better afterwards. And yeah, just try to stay organized, I guess, and schedule your free time and your time for yourself, and go for walks if that's the only thing you can do.
It's
Yeah,
very funny what. Sorry, Ju, but just to say something, it's very funny what subtitles can do to sometimes when they don't understand exactly what the professor said. Oh, I've seen so many funny things.
I know there's time when I can say like, this professor probably didn't rewatch the lecture after the automatic subtitles were done, because sometimes they say really weird stuff, but most of the time they're useful.
yeah, for sure. Shambals, what about you? Like, do you have a daily routine? I know you go running sometimes. How do you balance your studying life, the other things you like to do?
Yeah, I would say it's a pretty tight agenda. I try to be disciplined. Uh, I wouldn't lie. Most of the time, I just broke my own principles in terms of following all the all the list of tasks I have developed the day before. But most of it, because what Amanda said, in part we get affected by the weather, especially for me, tropical country. It's like below 10, it's good for a nap, sleep a bit. That's why for me it's a kind of a blessing to have pre-record lectures and live seminars online, because I wouldn't miss a lot of lectures starting by 9. I would arrive by 9:30 or 10 o'clock because I sleep too much. But then trying to explain a little bit about my routine. My routine includes studying. The I would consider the best days Tuesday to Thursday, because I have class by 9 until 4 p.m. and it's very heavy with a lot of breakup rooms with other students to discuss about topics. Um, we have lab sessions. The lectures create a link and space to have access to some of analytical tools that help us to really implement and conduct data analysis, which is one of the key reasons I came here. I have opportunity to receive advice from some of my previous colleagues' expertise from WHO, World Bank, that they refer. If you want to really to get in an industry for international organizations, it seems the new gold is data. If you know how to evaluate, assess data, you can really do whatever you want. I know the qualitative aspect also support, but it seems data is what at the end will provide the evidence base. So we have a lot of lab sessions to go through, a lot of data tools. And for now, I have, I believe, 7 or 8 new data tools that I get knowledge about it, and they also incorporate asset for my curriculum. Besides that, I'm course representative. I've been working directly with graduate student advice and Health Science department to really get a sense of what is a remote learning, how students can dealing with it, the challenge, and I've been also supervising my colleagues in the applied health research program to provide some feedback for the module leaders, and the department itself. Um, I'm also coordinating with the board studies, which is, I would say, like the high level in University of York. Last week we have discussed about what type of changes they want to implement to the curriculum, not only for the applied health research program, but for all universities. So it has been a huge opportunity for me to really be involved in the upgrade and update on some of the aspects the university wants to change for the admissions and how the class will be delivered for the next couple of years. And I'm a run and athletics member of the University of York. We have been training together. I'm sprinter and jumper. I do high jump, but also I have to run. Basically, our coach just mentioned that we need to run an average 30K, 30 kilometers per week to get in shape, and we have find a way to compete against other universities. Right now, what we have done is using Strava, which is a app that help to track the distance and the time do you have spent during some specific route, and then we upload in a big program that compares students at the University of York compared to students at other university with who did the long distance and the time we spent during that distance. It's like a competition we have done. Besides this, the last thing I also working with is the French class, which I have exams on May. To be sincere, I thought it would be a rather relaxing class with just trying to use a bit of French accent, but at the end, I have an intensive language course with a lot of content. It's like, oh my God, I had this to my agenda, and at the end, it would be reflected in my certificate. It would be in my CV, but not certificate. So it's very demanding. But at the end, it's like just discipline, focus, and patient on what you're doing.
Nice. Thanks for sharing. Amanda and Valeria, have you been involved with another kind of activities or societies at the universities you are in?
I've been lucky because I'm doing a placement right now at the Archaeology Data Service, which is an archive that is based in the university, and they archive digital data for archaeological sites. It's something also that I was interested in, and I was doing a little bit of comms and social media for them. They have a group called the Saving European Archaeology from the Digital Dark Age, and I was working a bit with them, and it has been great because I mean, like Chambalson said, I had something else to add onto my already packed agenda, but at least I feel like I'm going to leave the UK with some experience, and that again I'm trying to take advantage of everything that I have on hand. And at the end of the day, it ended up being very cool because now I'm going to be working with them, not exactly in that project, but something that is related to it for my dissertation. And they were very nice, and they told me that if I wanted to go and if I found something useful that they could help me out with, they would be happy to advise my dissertation, and that that's just really cool. And it's something that you wouldn't think that you could keep making connections and meeting new people when everything is now online. But I guess if you try to find that, there's still ways to do cool things.
What about you, Amanda?
So you, I think I haven't been involved too much with the extracurricular activities now. There is a Latin American society that I'm friends with, the people who are organizing, and it's quite participatory. So I did facilitate one of the circles of dialogue we had these days, but I'm not actively in the organization team. And the reason why this is the case is because I have always had a very packed agenda in Brazil, and I would study and work at the same time and all that. And this year, I thought I want to take a year just to study. So I've never been a sports person like Chambalson is. So this year, I'm trying. Well, I'm not competing in 30 kilometers per week with other universities, but I've started a little running program. It's just the Couch 251 from the BBC here, and at least it's making me go out. It has this little commitment to something like 3 times a week and stuff. And I think um, with my master, I'm trying to be as much as a good student in that sense of like really engaging in the lectures and stuff, because I really wanted to create this space to myself, to have to worry about nothing else rather than just studying. And I think by the end of April now is when my classes finish. And there are some internships that our professors facilitate for us and kind of indicate in some institutions they have contact with. I'm looking forward to that. The applications period will start in a bit, but I'm kind of waiting for my classes to finish and then, delivering all my assessments. I didn't want to rush into anything. And kind of this was my self-reward year with just kind of focusing in one thing at a time. I have never been good in focusing on one thing at a time, but I'm trying to learn that this year. So, but yeah, I still have to control myself. Every time I see a cool initiative, I don't go and say like, "Oh, okay, I want to join." Like, no, calm down. You have a plan. Just follow the plan. But yeah, so that would be it for me, Ju. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm the same path as you, and it's been really nice for me as well to focus and study. And I'm running as well, but I'm not an athlete. I'm just running for mental health, and that's it. It's been really nice. Like York's a beautiful city, so it's good to go out. Well, Bruno has asked the question. Do you had any good surprise at the university with the new tools or softwares that I use it for teaching, but special for research? I'm not sure tools are, but I think we can understand, such as like statistical softwares, are, as Sambalson told us, are tools to organize the readings or taking notes and this kind of stuff.
I can start sharing. In qualitative of research, I came with a bit of knowledge using Atlas T, that it's a qualitative software for readings, and if you want to coding for then make the assessment, the analysis, but also they are not like a university focus on we use only this tool. I have opportunity. I use Atlas T, but I have opportunity to also use AnyViv, another qualitative tool. So you have the professors give you the option to choose which one do you think fits for you. I'm using also Mendeley and EndNote, that is a reference manager, to help you when you need to have access to some of the articles in database, to download them, to create the reference list, which you can decide which one is the best for you. Statistic tools I'm using Stata, SPSS, Pointers, and R. And something that I would also mention, regardless if you have modules linked to these specific tools, they have conduct workshops weekly that you just need to assign. If you're a student at the University of York, you can assign and have course using these specific tools. They have for beginners, intermediate, and advanced users. So you just choose which one you want to use. They have really create an environment that students can take the best of it, even being on campus or private house. You can just log in and have access. I'm not sure about other versions. On my Mac, all those opportunities just will reflect in my calendars. I just need to go there and sign up to have access. So it's a really, really interesting. And a part of this, my dissertation that fortunately was approved, it's part of a project which the University of York is involved in Bangladesh and Indonesia, and use of a new drug to quiet smoking. I will do a mixing of qualitative and quantitative analysis for my dissertations. And part of this process is, at the end, the dissertation need to become published article for a scientific magazine. So there is a lot of opportunities, but at the end is what do you want and who you need to reach to find those opportunities.
Thanks.
You.
Valeria,
Sorry. No, sorry, go ahead.
no, you can go. I was just asking you if you would like to complement anything.
Thank you. So I think Mendeley is the most useful thing ever. It's really good, saves you a lot of time in doing reference management. I think one thing was just surrender to all Microsoft applications, because university has, like, the university account is a Microsoft one. I don't know if for you guys in New York is the same, but at least here at Sussex, we have this Microsoft package. And at the beginning, the first weeks, I've tried to use kind of Google Drive because it was what I was used to. But then they kind of have all the same things in this Microsoft platform. So I kind of just prefer doing everything together, because then it's kind of one platform connected to everything is just really useful. One thing that really helps me, which is not actually a software, but it's just a study technique. It's that Pomodoro technique that really helps me study. And I usually time myself with a video here from YouTube. It's a profile called the Strive to Fit. And it's just a girl who has like instrumental music, and like a beep, an alarm goes on every time you reach the 25 minutes, take a break and stuff. I think that really helps me to break down this big thing of doing a master, doing a module, doing a dissertation into 25 minutes task, makes it much more manageable. And I think one thing that Chambalson said that I would definitely recommend too is trying to improve your digital skills. I'm in social sciences. My master is totally like geared to this interaction between science, technology, economic development, and so on and so forth. But the university here, my professors really focus on how we should be future proofing ourselves and being able to work with data, to analyze data, to make statistical inferences from data is a really important thing for for nowadays, not even for the future, is for now. Like if you want to get a job, if you have R skills, if you have Stata or SPSS, you kind of just, jumps in front of other candidates. I've seen some job applications recently, some job descriptions that explicitly said candidates with knowledge of R will be preferred. So I am suffering. It is a total like new world for me. I have never been a person of maths or anything like that, but it's not actually about math. It's just a little bit of logic. And after you go through this initial learning phase, then the curve just becomes really exponential because you discover everything you can do with this type of analysis. And I think that is, quite helpful. So Mendeley, strive to study, and just improving your digital skills would be my answer for the softwares and tools.
Thanks. Valeria, do you use anything different?
Yeah, I love the Pomodoro method too. It's amazing, and I've been watching those videos of girls that do that, like the little study with me sessions, and I find they're really useful. I haven't used Mendeley, but I use something called Sotero, which is also like a reference manager, and I like it a lot too. And my university has also been pushing a lot of paper pile, because with these student emails, you can get like a lot of licenses for software and programs, and I know that paper pile is one of those. And I've also been enjoying using Notion for just like taking notes, like to-do lists and little tasks that I want to complete, and you you can make it all look like very organized. I sometimes even like make notes of the recipes I want to try or movies I want to watch. So every time I come up with an idea, I just put it all in. My whole life is in there, and I try to like tick off my tasks and look for there if I need notes on anything. So yeah, I guess my tips would be Pomodoro, Sotero, and then Notion.
Neuroscience can explain why Pomodoro works for us. It's really nice. I will not share with you, but I was learning about that last term. Well, we are going to coming to the ending, but I would like to ask you one more question, if that's okay for you. Yeah. So, like, has your universities provided any kind of specific support for coping with the pandemic? Like New York, we have some initiatives. I would like to hear from you, Valeria and Chambalso, and also what kind of support Sussex offers for you, Amanda.
I think I can start. At the beginning, the first term, I think I would say I have my first noticeable depression period. I may be affected by the lockdown and the weather, which is it was surprise for me. I finish my class and I look at the window. It's night, while in the tropical countries by three it's still a sunshine day, and I receive a lot of support from my um, model supervisor, which is not, it's something completely different when I compare with the education system in my country. We have program supervisor, which regularly check if everything is okay. I have monthly meetings with her to check is everything okay? You need support. How is your class? Which modules are you feeling difficult? How I can reach other leader modules to support you, and the module leaders to support you and provide you a kind of bridge between what you have in terms of gaps and how you could receive appropriate support. Receive also assistance from student support who provide me some guidance on how to study in UK, how I could address as I think Amanda mentioned about this, you need to have a strategy. Right now, I start to do the assignments, not to really trying to capture all the content, because I noticed I was staying behind compared to other colleagues, because I was trying to go in deep like a PhD program. Like, well, in this, it's very practical. You need to just go, pick up what is interesting for you, and it will help you at the end. Other circumstance was in January. One of my flatmates had a test positive for COVID, but then she retake and test negative. But when she got the positive, I informed the university, and then the university sent me right after the next day a package from Morris with a lot of food to support me, because I supposed to stay at home for 8 days. Um, After receiving food from Morrison, 3 days after I received food from Morrison, all paid by the university, then I received a hamper of £4, which I just converting other package of food that come from artists. Believe I received 3 package of food, and I didn't buy anything for a month. I have food for a month, all funded by the university. And they also have the emergency fund for students, which I was one of the awarded students. I received £500 last month, and it helped a lot to deal with some of the expense we have here in UK. So until now, I would say University of York has been 5-star in that kind.
Thanks. What about Sussex, Amanda?
So I think there might be many services I don't know because I'm not living on campus. So I'm pretty sure my colleagues who are on campus would have a better idea. But one thing that I have used so far that was quite useful was the career center. They are like well, like all the university, they moved everything online, and I could just send my CV, send my what I wanted to do next, and have some advice on how to prepare a CV for the UK context. I didn't know if there were many differences or just silly things. Do people here put a photo on the profile? Does the education come first, the professional experience? What those little things that kind of no one tells you, but you kind of have to know. Also, the university has been really thoughtful with the kind of mental health support part. So they have, I think they have actually increased the number of slots available for mental health support and things like that. So that has also been quite useful. Yeah, and I mean, having only had sorry, I don't know how to say that word in English, but I'm thinking in my head here that only having the experience from Brazil, of a Brazilian university, I do think the university here made the change to online context in a really fast-paced manner, because this is my semester now. The semester we came in was the first year they were fully taking everything online, right? And the Canvas page was really good. Canvas is like the place we go in with all our modules and all the classes, all the documents. Not sure if you guys have the same. You do? No. Oh.
No,
Anyway,
but it's the same. Yeah, it's like
yeah,
VLE.
something
Yeah.
similar. Yeah. So yeah, I think I feel supported in that sense. I think, as Shambalson said before, he's student representative. I'm also student representative for my course. My 6 people cohort is a very small cohort, but it also allows me to be in really close touch with the course director, and it's just a very open space. It's quite a horizontal conversation that you can just say, this is working, this is not working, how, what can we do? And like this week, we even had a postponement of one of our deadlines for our dissertation submission, because I think one student contacted the office saying they were having a really hard time, and they kind of just wrote a really nice email saying, we all know we're all struggling. You're not alone. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you're not alone in this. So I think this posture from the professors, from the teaching team, from the administrative team, is just really good to know that like you're not alone in this whole thing. So not sure if I answered your question, Ju. It kind of went on and on. Sorry for that, but
Totally answered. So I think that's it. Would you say anything else? You can just say if you would like to share anything else.
I will just share, for those who want to apply for a master program, my experience on how I choose a specific program. I was in the middle of my career in the public health. I did a self-assessment about what I want to learn, what was my weakness, and I took a look on job descriptions for the posts I would like to be in future in 5 years, to know exactly what type of skills and tools I really need to have a certain knowledge. And then I look for programs that could cover those specific tools and those skills at the hand, to really shape me to be in another health or advantage. I have a certain advantage when I submit my CV or resume. And the last thing I would mention is the fact that I choose, for example, University of York as part of a research group, is the fact that they are very well known for intensive research, and I've noticed this with the assignments. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much for being here with us and sharing those valuable tips and thoughts. I would like to thank you, that everyone that was listening to us, and say goodbye and tell you to follow us on Instagram. We will share the next episode, the topics we are going to talk about, and the datas and the calendar and everything. Thank you very much again, and I hope you have a really great Sunday tomorrow.